Good evening, I'm Norah O'Donnell live from the U.S. Naval Base here in Bahrain, home of the Navy's Fifth Fleet. So much has happened since we arrived here in the Middle East on Sunday. Each day we have learned of new attacks from Iranian-backed militias. American soldiers have died and American warships and aircraft are under fire. The number of attacks from Houthi militants are increasing and some of their weapons are getting closer. A senior defense official here in Bahrain just moments ago telling us exclusively that about 10 minutes ago, the F-18 Super Hornets bombed 10 unmanned drones in western Yemen that we're preparing to launch. That is how dynamic this situation is. Also, just hours ago, there was another attack, the USS Carney shooting down a ballistic missile and several drones that were heading their way. And we're also learning new details about that attack on a U.S. destroyer last night. That was the USS Gravely, and the Houthi missile came within a mile of the battleship. That is significant. Why? Because it forced sailors to use their final line of defense. Bottom line, despite the Biden administration's efforts to calm tensions, things are escalating. We are the first journalists to make the long trip to the Red Sea, embedding with the U.S. Navy, who describes this situation as increasingly dynamic and unprecedented. We just got back after getting a close-hand look. These sailors and Marines are just one part of the U.S. military presence in the Middle East.
Mason, Roger, over.
In Yemen today, a Houthi anti-aircraft missile targeted American patrol aircraft. The missile, which was in firing position, was destroyed by the U.S. military, according to the Pentagon.
Folks that need to show restraint are these groups that Iran backs.
Groups like the one that killed 3 Americans earlier this week. President Biden has approved a series of strikes against targets, including Iranian personnel and facilities inside Iraq and Syria.
We have obligations in the region, including those to our troops and our facilities. And now those attacks have taken the lives of 3 of them. We will do what we need to do to make sure that those responsible are held properly accountable.
The U.S. has positioned one of its most lethal and effective assets in the Red Sea. We went to sea for ourselves, taking a C-2 Greyhound, also known as a COD, to the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier. U.S. troops deployed in the region are now in what's called a weapons engagement zone, meaning the U.S. service members are in the range of enemy fire. The night we arrived on board the carrier, the destroyer, the USS Gravely, intercepted another Houthi missile.
We're on call 24/7. It never stops.
Rear Admiral Mark Miguez is the commander of Carrier Strike Group 2, which includes the Eisenhower and the Gravely.
What's the first thing the president asks when there's a crisis? Where are the carrier strike groups? And there's a reason for that. You've seen some of it in full display over the last 8 hours.
The Carrier Strike Group is leading the U.S.-led coalition's defense with a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, destroyers, 75 aircraft, and some 7,000 sailors strong.
I know that our sailors are trained. I know that they're going to react and respond as they've been trained to do. And it was relevant last night, just like it's going to be relevant anytime we get shot at.
Captain Christopher Hill, call sign Chowda, is in charge of the Ike.
It's kind of a testament to the capability of our missile systems and our guns, and the capability of our sailors to operate that equipment.
We were there during night flight operations. F-18s launched with military precision. The choreography perfected, so fighter jets can go from 0 to 125 miles per hour in just 2 seconds. Captain Hill was observing from the ship's bridge. Today we asked him about the attack on American service members in Jordan that killed 3 soldiers. The president has said that he has made a decision about how to respond. Does this Carrier Strike Group stand ready?
We have been ready for quite some time.
No matter what the order?
No matter what the order.
Do you think you'll end up being involved?
We are presently involved.
We flew by helicopter to see the ships heavily involved in deterring the Houthis and defending American warships, the destroyers.
We're on a Navy MH-60 helicopter right over the Red Sea, and we are heading to the USS Mason. That destroyer is the tip of the spear.
Once on board the Mason, we went inside the highly secretive Combat Information Center, CIC. It is the ship's nerve center, where split-second decisions are made when Mason's radars pick up an inbound threat.
Simply put, at any time, in any given place inside the Red Sea, I could be shot.
The ship's captain, Justin Smith, says Mason has been on high alert for incoming Houthi missiles and drones since it arrived in the region 88 days ago.
We have about 10 to 15 seconds to be able to make that determination if we're going to engage that target.
That's not enough time to make a phone call. You just have to make the decision.
Let's make the decisions.
How long can you carry that on, that heightened level of posture?
This is demanding work, but our sailors have the tools, they have the resources, and we have the flexibility and logistics to be able to maintain this for a long period of time.
Commander Melanie Ollie, call sign Brucey, is the only female squadron leader on the Ike.
We've seen a lot of different threats that I don't think we were expecting to see on this deployment, but when you realize that there's merchant shipping at risk, there's innocent people at risk, you step up. We want to help.
Just a look at what we saw today.